Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen. We are back for lesson two, part two. The first part of this lesson, we did this kind of crazy guy in a spaceship here, and we did a chair with a mouse sticking out of the hole in the wall a little bit. Today, this time, what I'd like to do is show you how to draw a simple house. So we're going to be taking a look at something like this right here, a simple house. And this simple house is not so simple, but it's a lot more three-dimensional than what you've done. In the past, you may have drawn, I'm going to flip this paper over, a house kind of like this. A lot of people started out when they were drawing, and they would draw a house, and it looked like a box with a triangle on the top of it. And then they would also have a line across here, and they would put a tree up over here. They would put a sun up in the corner, and they would put a door and a window and a window. And then if you were a really good artist, you would put little crosses in there and maybe even some drapes in there and a doorknob and a chimney. Sometimes the chimney would be crooked like this, and there was smoke coming out of the chimney, even if it was 95 degrees outside. And you would have maybe some flowers here and other things. And for this is the house drawing that a lot of people do, all over the world. They all tend to do the same house drawing. And this worked really great when you were in kindergarten and first grade and second grade. But by the time you got into fifth grade and sixth grade, this house drawing looked too babyish for you. And what happens was a lot of people stopped drawing about fifth, sixth, especially by seventh grade, because they didn't want to do these baby drawings anymore. So what I'm going to do is show you how to take this drawing, the elements of that drawing, and make it more three-dimensional. In a lot of ways, it's the same house. This one just looks more at an angle. So how do you do this? How do you go about doing that? That's what we're going to take a look at today. This is going to take a little while to do this house. So I'm going to start with the main part of the house, and I'm going to start about 3 fingers, 1, 2, 3 fingers. I'm going to put 2 dots about right in the middle of my section, about 3 fingers apart. I'll put a dot there and a dot there. I just moved them over to the right just slightly. Okay? And I'm going to start out with then 1 finger apart, a dot here, and a dot there, up and down. And then very lightly, I'm going to put in my northeast and northwest lines in those dots. So we're going to start out by drawing a simple box. That's how it's going to start. So I'm going to go straight down, straight down, straight down, northeast, northwest. If you remember your northeast and northwest direction lines, here we go again. Northeast goes this way, and northwest goes this way. Northeast, northwest. All right? So I'm going to start this house on a box, and you can see that there's just a box part down here. That works pretty well. Now we need to put a roof line up on top of it, and we need to put a peak. And the trick for that is to take your pencil very lightly through this wall and go corner to corner through that part of the box, okay? Very, very lightly. Don't do it very dark, because we're going to erase that in a few minutes. So I'm going to take this box, and I'm going to start doing all kinds of details on the inside of it. Let's go slightly bigger. Okay. Now, I found the middle of this box by putting an X through it. And then I'm going to take a line and go straight up from that X, very lightly. And that's going to be the roof line. That's going to be the peak. Okay, see, that's going to be the peak up here. So I want to determine how high I want my roof to go. You could have it like a low roof. You could have it a really high roof. I'm going to go about that far right there. So I'm going to have my roof come down like this. Now let's take it a little higher. And I just changed my mind. You can do that as an artist because you have an eraser, and that's okay. I'm going to take that up just a little bit higher. That looks better to me. Okay, so there's going to be the peak of my roof right up there. And once you get the peak of that roof, then you can erase these other lines because you don't really need them anymore. Those were just little guidelines to help you to get that roof line up there where you want it. All right? So this goes northwest. The bottom part of my roof here is going to come northwest. Now this is the hardest line in the whole drawing as far as I'm concerned, is to take this and see this goes northwest. This goes northwest. The peak of the house, the ridge of the house is also going to go northwest. And in order to help you with that, you can take your pencil and you can line it up with the bottom, line it up with that line, line it up with that line, and you can line it up with that line. That's called comparative angles. Comparative angles, we do those a lot in art. Okay, so you see this roof line here. I'm going to take that and I'm going to bring that back. And I could even angle it just slightly more because of perspective. And that will give me the back of my roof back there. Okay, so now I can erase this line and this line. I don't need those anymore. I'm going to erase that dot right there. I don't need that. And again, please feel free to stop, pause, or you can stop this video anytime you want. And then you can rewatch parts of it and you can come back. So there's the basic outline of the house. So I'm going to go like this and I'm going to add a northwest line here. I'm just going to make the edge of that roof look like it overhangs a little bit. And I'm going to make this edge of this roof look like it overhangs. I'm going to just tuck a little line back there going in direction northwest to show that that overhangs a little bit. All right. So now let's get rid of this little tail. Need that. And now I can get rid of this little line. There's a lot of erasing on the house. But from here on out, it's pretty straightforward. All right. I'm going to put a little line coming down like this. It's going to show the inside edge. And that's that little part going out there. So that's good. I mean, I could make that a lot more complicated, but I'm going to try to keep it simple. I'm going to try to keep these simple for you because this is only lesson 2. Now, with this house, when I did the house when I was a little kid, I used to like to put the door right in the middle of the house. Let's just do that again. I'm going to put the door right in the middle of this house. So I'm going to do a line straight up and down here. Now, this little line for the top of the door doesn't go straight across because remember, this goes northeast, this goes northeast. So the top of my door is going to go northeast also, okay? So all those need to be consistent. I'm going to put a window on the sides because that's what I did when I was a kid. When I was a kid, and again, I'm at school recording these, so once in a while we have Mrs. Fisher come in and make an announcement. It's no big deal. We're used to that. So I'm going to put these 2 windows and line them up at the top of the door there. Northeast, northeast. All right. Now, to make this look a little bit more 3-dimensional in those windows, I'm going to show you another trick. This is a trick that works every time. All right. Right in the corner of this window right here, I'm going to put a little line that goes northwest. Okay. So it's going to go northwest at this angle, just like that. See? And then I'm going to draw a line straight up and down here, and then northeast. So that gives me a thickness in that window. I'm going to do the same thing here. I'm going to go northwest, straight up and down, northeast. That gives me a thickness in that window. And maybe, I mean, you could, if you wanted to put window panes and things in there, or drapes. I'm just going to shade this a little bit so it looks like it goes in there. So I'm just going to shade this part right here. There we go. That looks pretty cool. I'm going to put the door on the left-hand side. You can put it on the right if you want. So that's starting to look a little bit more like a cozy little house. All right, and on the other side over here, I'm just going to put one big picture window because, I mean, I could put a lot of windows on there. I could make this into a 2-story house. I could make it into an L-shaped house. I could do a lot of things. But I'm just going to do 2 lines straight up and down, and this is going to go northwest and northwest. So there you go. So it looks like it fits on the side of that house. Now here, if it's on the left side of the middle, then I'm going to put the thickness on the left. And that's the general rule Mark Kistler taught me. If the window is on the left side of the middle, then you put that little line on the left. If it's on the right side of the middle, you put the little line on the right. Now, I want to put a couple kids in here, looking like they're looking out the window. So I'm going to put a couple little heads and some eyeballs. They're looking like little cartoon characters sticking out there. Maybe one of them's got some hair, and this one's got some curls. And then maybe I want to put a little bit of shadow behind them. Make it look like it goes back in there. That's kind of fun. All right. So I have a couple kids looking out that window. Here's my front window here. My house is basically done, but I want to do some other things. With this going northeast, I want to draw some lines that are going northeast here and make it look like it could be siding. If you wanted to do some up and down lines, you could make it look like bricks. That's kind of nice. I'm going to put some siding on this side of the house too. All of these lines are going to go northwest. See, they need to follow along. I'm not too concerned about getting them exact because I'm just kind of looking here at trying to get some texture on there. Almost looks like a log house here. And then you can also, if you would like to, you could go some up and down lines or sideways lines. I'm going to add a little bit of shading over here to this side of the house. That looks good. All right, cool. Sorry about that little bump. And then over here, I'm just going to add some shrubs. Let's just add some shrubs over here. Break up the bottom of that. And by scrubs, I'm just scribbling. Those are just little scribble shrubs. I could add another one here. Just kind of take your pencil and scribble. I could add another one over here. Just put in some shrubs there. All right, excuse me. So right here, here's one of the, well, let's go to the top of the house. So I'm going to add some northwest lines here. These northwest lines are going to, let's take that out there just a little bit. Okay, I'm going to pause this video just for a second. All right, sorry about that. Just need to take a quick pause. I haven't talked like this in so long that the throat's not really liking it a whole lot. All right, so I put these lines and they're going northwest. And then if you'd want to put some shingles, you can use these shingles and you can bring these angles down the same angle as the roof line is here, and you can just kind of put these little lines in there every other so that they cover up. Now when you shingle a house, you usually put the shingles in from the bottom up so that they overlap. But when you draw them, it doesn't make any difference. You could do them from the bottom up or the top down. And you don't even need to do every single one of these lines for shingles. You can just kind of put that in there so it gives it the effect. It's the same kind of idea that you get with dragon scales. The dragon scales are going to overlap each other, and our shingles are kind of like the dragon scales of a house. I'm going to put a couple of lines across here too. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe up here, if you wanted to. Oh, I just changed my mind. Maybe you could put this little window up here, maybe a foreshortened circle. And if it's on the right-hand side of the middle line, then you could put the thickness on the right-hand side. And look, I could put a little window up there, like an attic window. That's kind of fun to do something like that. Okay, so my house is pretty much done. And I want to do a little bit of scenery around it. And there are a lot of things that you could do for that. I don't want to get too involved, but I'm going to just go up like about halfway up the house, and I'm just going to put a hill and then another hill. So this house is kind of out in the country a little bit. I'm going to do a couple hills. Now these overlapping hills here, if you remember, every time you use a line and then take another one and put it behind it, see, A always looks like it's in front of B. So this hill looks like it's in front of that one, and that works pretty cool. All right, so I'm going to come down to the bottom here. And now I want to put in a sidewalk here also. And the sidewalk that I do, I want this angle to go up northwest. And again, looking at my drawing compass, northwest, whoops, northwest goes at an angle like this. Here's my northwest. So I want to put in my sidewalk coming northwest. When I was a kid, when I wanted to draw a sidewalk to my house, I would go like this. I would do two lines going straight down, and I would draw my sidewalk like that. It looks like a rope ladder. It doesn't look like a sidewalk very much. It looks like a rope ladder. So here, I'm going to do the same idea with the sidewalk, only I'm going to take it northwest. And then I'm going to put some lines here going northeast to break it up. And see, that looks like it's sitting down there. That's kind of cool. And then if you would want to, you could, add a tree back here. I'm just going to do a little kind of a scribble tree. I'm going to take this up. And you could add a tree back here. Now remember, when a tree grows, we're going to do some trees later. But when a tree grows out of the ground, it kind of has these different parts that come out, and it's thicker at the bottom. And then an easy way to do trees is kind of do this pillowy type of thing here. You can add some leaves, and you can put a little shading in there. I'm just going to scribble that in there real quickly. That's not the most important part of the drawing, but it just gives it a little bit of soften a little bit. It gives it a little bit of perspective. And if you'd want to, you could put a mailbox out here by doing a couple lines down northeast and northwest. A little line right there going northwest. And then over here, a little line going northeast. And I'm going to go up and around, just like the back of the chair. Remember the back of the chair. It's the same thing. And then go northwest, and I'm going to curve that. And there's a mailbox. Put a little shadow in it. You could even put a flag on the side. And, yep, I got a little bit of mail in there, so hope that the mail people come get it. And then you can put a little grass, just a little scribbly grass back in here. You can put a little shading back here. You can keep going with this if you'd like to. Whoops, sorry. Put a little grass in there. Okay. This drawing took a long time for lesson 2, part 2. And then the second one is just going to be a simple flag. So I'm going to show you how to do a simple flag like this. We're just going to do one because we're kind of getting long with this segment here a little bit. So I'm just going to show you how to, so there's the house. House is kind of cool. It's a lot better than that house, which I used to do when I was a kid. And so I like that one better. Hopefully you'd like it too. And now I'm just going to end up with this simple flag. All right, so I might even put this over here so that you can see it a little bit. So there's a simple flag. I'm going to start with a little circle up high. I'm going to do 2 lines down, and I'm just going to draw a flagpole like that. Okay, it's not the straightest thing in the world, but that's okay. And now I'm going to, excuse me, take my line coming out from there. I'm going to come out to the right, and then I'm going to go in a foreshortened curve and swing it back to the left. Okay, so that's like a foreshortened circle right there. This is going to be like a foreshortened circle right there. I'm going to swing this out to the right. And that's the most important line. See, it looks like a big S backwards. It's a big backwards S. And this is a way to do flags. And the best way to do a flag is just to do a simple one first. So I'm going to just go straight down here. I'm going to curve the bottom here. I'm going to go straight down here. Every place, just like with a candle, every place at the edge of the curve, you're going to go straight down. And then this part is higher, so I'm going to lift this up a little bit higher right there. And there's a simple flag, and it looks like it's waving. That's kind of cool. You could do one over here, come in the other direction if you would want to, like that. And if you get really crazy, and you want to try something harder, you can go spin and spin and spin and spin and spin. I'm not going to do this one with you because we don't have time for that. But that's kind of a crazy flag. using foreshortened circles. It's a lot of fun to do one like that. But first, get good at doing some simple flags like this. And you could add a little shading to this if you wanted to. I'm pretty much going to call this done. All right, so there's the end. Let's put this all the way back. There's the end of lesson 2. This is lesson 2, part 2, and this is going to conclude your first week in Art 1 class. And I thank you for joining my class virtually here, and I look forward to seeing you face-to-face in the future. Thanks. Hope you had a good week. Hope this was a little bit of fun for you. Thanks. Just submit it to Google Classroom, send it to me, and I'll take a look at it, make some comments, give you a grade. I grade easy. I'm not going to grade hard. So don't be afraid. Send it in to me and see how it goes. All right. Thank you. Signing off.